Hey, Josh Johnson here, and we've got a lot to discuss. Storm chances for Thursday night into Friday. The new data there encouraging. I think you'll like what we have to say. You might not like what we have to say about the drought situation. The long range data looks grim. We'll dive into the lengthy stretch of dry weather that may start us up for March. And we'll talk about cold weather prospects. They're not very good after tonight. So, some big changes on the way. Some of them you'll like, some of them maybe not so much. Let's dive straight into the maps here. So the day ahead looks like a good one. By lunchtime, many of you may be watching this into the afternoon. We'll climb up into the 50s today. A nice supply of sunshine. It's a bright and beautiful go of things. No weather concerns today. Just cruise control sort of forecast here. Then tonight, it's not as cold. By 7 o'clock, we're in the 40s. So I am an assistant Little League baseball coach on Charlie Mann's team. I really I shag balls. That's about it. But it's going to be cold at baseball practice tonight. If you're watching this and you play on our team, if you're watching this and you'll be out at any soccer field, softball field, baseball field, if you're outside tonight, you'll want a jacket, a coat. It's going to be in the 40s, right? Not necessarily baseball weather. Okay, then we get to overnight lows tonight, right? We were at 22 degrees last night. Tonight, nowhere close to that. We're projecting lows to drop down into the upper 30s and low 40s tonight. So chilly, sure, but not cold. And then look at this. Let's have a parade. Wednesday, tomorrow, how about sunshine and 70s? How does that sound? Pretty nice go of things, isn't it? It's a beautiful go of weather. Bright, sunny, and warm stuff for central and south Alabama there into the afternoon and evening on Wednesday. Then we get to Thursday. Thursday's another warm day. And let me say this, there's really no screaming signal for anything cold in the next 10 days other than what you're dealing with right now. So once we get warm on Wednesday, I think we stay warm. Then we start to track some scattered showers in the mix. As early as sunrise Thursday, there will be a few pockets of light rain. Then the sun comes up. This is valid at noon. You've still got kind of this showery little scenario here. Understand, though, the changes in the data are significant with this system. The newest data shows that area of surface low pressure forming weaker, slower, and a lot farther towards the south. That means no real severe weather risk here. This is going to be more just scattered showers, clap or two of thunder in the mix. This is not anything that really should be on your radar, ha ha ha, so to speak. We will just deal with scattered showers. Yes, there will be some claps of thunder and some heavy rain, and the wind will kick up in a few spots, but from a widespread severe weather perspective, it's just not going to happen. This is 9 o'clock Thursday night. The rain begins to get down into South Alabama after midnight. The front stalls down here, and that'll be a tricky part of this, is where does that front stall? Does that front stall in the Florida panhandles? Does it stall in South Alabama? Does it stall in Central Alabama? Wherever it stalls, the rain chance sort of lingers a little while into the day on Friday. My suspicion is this stalls along the Alabama-Florida border, and the scenario is similar to what you see here. I would take this and adjust it south a little more, but this would be the idea that the rain chance Friday would during the daytime Friday would mainly be south of Montgomery. And I would say more so along the Florida border counties for Friday midday. And then either way, it all clears out Friday afternoon, and that sets us up for a beautiful run of days into the upcoming weekend. Storm Prediction Center outlook, you see it here. This is a general thunderstorm outlook. This is not severe weather. Their lightest shade of green here just means, yeah, you could hear some thunder. Yeah, that's about it. So it's not a huge deal. What about rainfall amounts? This is from the Weather Prediction Center. Generally speaking, about an inch of rain or so north of a line from, we'll say, Greensboro to Clanton to Dadeville to Valley. North of there, about an inch. South of there, about a half inch. The tricky part of this is the drought is worse in Alabama down here, where the rainfall amounts will be lightest. And then the even trickier part of this is what happens afterwards. There's just not a lot of hope for rain in the long range here. Let me show you this. So this is the European ensemble approach. This is valid at Montgomery. Ensemble mean between a half inch and an inch Thursday night into Friday morning. And then look at this big gap right here. That is spaghetti-o. That's a long stretch from about Friday midday through at least, say, March the 5th. It's dry. There are literally 2 ensemble members, 2 out of 50, that have a chance of some rain around March 2nd or 3rd. So those are outliers, right? I mean, there's not a lot of good agreement. What you look for here, see how these numbers right here are all stacked up, and there's a very clear kind of line up and down the graphic there. That's each ensemble member projecting some healthy rainfall. So there's outstanding agreement in this idea of a half inch to an inch of rain. Notice how here there's a gap. You just don't see hardly anything. And then over here, it's just kind of a big mess. This means that, yes, it will probably rain in here, but there's really not any good agreement on exactly when or how much. And that would be all past about March the 5th or 6th, right? So this is going to be a lengthier stretch of dry weather, and I'm afraid the drought is going to get worse before it gets better. And we're already in kind of a tough spot when it comes to drought in Alabama. We are in extreme drought across portions of east, central, and southwest Alabama, right? And really, even across the entire southeast, there is just quite a bit of drought. Look at this. The red outline that you see there, most of the Florida Panhandle, most of the Florida Peninsula, South Georgia, and then kind of this strip that goes along I-85-ish with spotty areas of extreme drought. That's D3, right? So this is a tough place to be in. It is vital, and I do mean vital from an agricultural perspective, that we turn to a wetter pattern after March 5th. I suspect we will. We're transitioning into a neutral ENSO state. ENSO is La Nina versus El Nino. We're transitioning to none of the above, which typically those are kind of average rainfall springs for us. Average rainfall springs would be good enough, right? We would climb out of the drought sometime in May. If we were to get to May 1st without having a nice rainfall month, and that's what we need. We need a March or April that comes in and is wetter than normal. Preferably both. But if we get to May 1st and that hasn't happened, we're in big trouble. This drought situation is going to get really bad because from a growing perspective, it's really difficult to get out of a drought once you get to May and June. The sun angle's high. The sun is beating the water out of the ground every single day. And just synoptically, the weather changes. The jet stream lifts north. You don't get as many kind of regular storm systems coming through. You don't get as much rain. The rain falls very unevenly. You get these summertime humidity-driven thunderstorms that, yeah, sure, one place may get 2 inches of rain, but 10 miles north, south, east, west of there's no rain at all. So it becomes a very difficult thing to get out of a drought once you get to the summer months. So it's nothing to panic about or anything. It's just we'll keep an eye on it and we'll keep you updated on that drought scenario. So, all right, everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, February 24th. Take care. We'll see you.